Okay, it's Friday night, and I gotta do some stuff. Got an active social life these days, so I don't have time for a Hollywoke hot take. But I did want to rant about something, and I'm putting it on YouTube because I want more people to see it. I guess reboots are for cowards. I think, yeah, I really do. I don't think there's a whole lot of reason for reboots. Um, not a whole lot, unless maybe if the movie is like 50 years old or something, and it's a, it, but even that, yeah, no, no. I think I'm gonna stick with my original thing. Reboots are creatively cowardly, I would say. I'm so sick of them. I'm so disgusted with them. I mean, the Juliet and Romeo, and you would call it a reboot, I think. Um, Supposed to be Romeo and Juliet. They rebooted as a pop musical. Ah, just made me so upset. Um, there's just been tons and tons of reboots, tons and tons. I don't have a visual, so I just put up YouTube when I can't think of anything. Um, why Hollywood? Why? The only thing I can think of is number one, it's just lazy. So there's a lot of people in Hollywood that don't want to do a lot of work. Have you been to Southern California? Have you talked to people? I have. I've never been to a place that was more about going on vacation literally every day of every year than the people in Southern California. I used to, when I was starting out in screenwriting and trying to make some headway, I would call people on the phone because I live in New Jersey, and yeah, it's all you could do back then, other than moving. And I would try to get people on the phone, and sometimes I would. And I remember calling people, and I would call people all year round. I remember thinking to myself, there's got to be a time of year when things are happening in Hollywood where people actually work. And it turns out, no. No, no. Everybody in Hollywood, because the weather, I guess, is so nice, is in a constant state of checking out on vacation. Um, the moment they're not doing anything, the moment they're not working, boom, they're on vacation. Seems to me. Um, and the reboots would be a shortcut to that, right? Because you don't have to write the screenplay or you just rewrite it. You're terrible talent, so it's a shortcut. I see it as a shortcut, the whole reboot thing. The second thing is from the producer's perspective, it's a built-in audience, right? Because you have an audience from the previous booting that comes in, and then you won't make as much money usually, but you'll make money, right? Because there'll be enough people, depending on the size of the audience, that are just mildly curious. Oh yeah, I remember the old franchise, whatever it was. Oh, I like that. Let me go see the new version, even though it's the same damn thing. Or in the case of more kid movies, you take your kids to go see the movie that you used to like. And I'm not talking necessarily about the woke stuff, although that's made it 1,000 times worse. But just the idea of doing a reboot. I mean, the arrogance of people. Oh well, I'll do it right this time. They don't reboot terrible movies usually, although there's a lot of terrible movies out there and some terrible reboots. But typically, it's a movie that had to have done some business. I mean, typically you don't go reboot. For instance, you could reboot Killer's Clowns from Outer Space, right? It's not a great movie. I like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but I wouldn't call it a good movie. You could reboot that and make it better, appreciably, maybe if you did it right. But I don't think they're going to reboot Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's just not enough audience there, I think. Although they did reboot the Toxic Avengers, so never say never. Um, they just keep doing this, and it's really just, I think, part of the reason people are so checked out on movies. Now, hear me out. I mean, obviously streaming is a big part of that. It's just easier the entire experience in movies. As I've complained many times, it's just awful. It's just a terrible experience going to the movie theater. I kind of want to go see the Minecraft movie just to check it out, but even the idea of just going to a theater in general, even a movie I kind of want to see, it's just, I just have to wait. If I'm just patient, it probably won't cost me much, and it'll be a better experience. Actually, going to the theater fills me with dread these days because the expense, the terrible food, the environment. It's just not a good place to see a movie anymore. I didn't realize how trapped we were back in the 80s. It was the only place to see movies. At one point, you could wait for a lot of years. It might never come on regular TV back in the 80s, but these days, movies are just another place and to see content, and it's not a great one, and no one seems to care. No one until the movie theaters are on their last legs and they feel like they're just about there. I don't think anything's going to change in that area. Meanwhile, to make the situation 100 times worse, Hollywood just keeps rebooting everything in a desperate attempt to get some people back in the theaters. It's like, rather than take a chance on a new story with, talent, they say, well, a 100-seat theater, if we do a reboot, it won't be 100 people, but we'll probably get a good 50. That's sad. It's just so sad. The Juliet and Romeo movie is just awful. So many of the reboots are god awful. I now wish for some of these IPs to just die forever. They should go away. Or what should happen, the process should be they go in the public domain. And because they're in the public domain, the public screws around with them. And, so imagine like Star Wars going into the public domain after 50 years like it should. Everybody and their friend could start a Star Wars thing, an actual thing that they'd own, sort of, not really. Their own version of Star Wars. You could do sales and do Star Wars themed sales at your business, or do a Star Wars themed whatever you wanted, because it would be in the public domain. It would be like, you doing your own version of Thor. Thor's in the public domain, not the mighty Thor, but the concept of Thor. But instead, it's like Hollywood seems determined to take these IPs and beat them to the point at which, when they do finally go into the public domain, they're worthless. Like, Popeye and Mickey Mouse are going into the public domain, or they're in it. Steamboat Willie is. They're making these movies based on it, and it's like no one even cares. No one's even talking about them. I mean, you'd think media would talk about things that are mildly interesting. It's at least a mild, interesting phenomenon that some of these IPs are going into the public domain. And yet, you hear nothing, because what is the media today? The media is just designed to pump up other media that's owned by the same company. That's it. Everything else is irrelevant. The truth is irrelevant. Beauty and art is irrelevant. I know it's kind of an angry, depressing rant, but it's true. It's true. And at the very least, if things are going to get ground down to nothing, let's make the process, I don't know, about 40 years, 50 years, and then be done so we can move on to new stuff. Because at least if we were getting new crap from Hollywood, some of it would be good, right? There'd be a few gems in that turd. A couple of them. Something that would be classic, that would then get exploited to the point that you were sick of it and never wanted to see it again. Let's see some of that. Let's see some of that new stuff, Hollywood. And there's new stuff coming out, but God forbid you hear about it. I mean, I have to dig in the algorithm just to find some of these trailers, and once in a while I find a trailer like, oh, this is kind of a cool concept. I don't know any of these actors. I've never heard of this production company or this director. And then sometimes I never see the movie again, unfortunately. Instead, it's just celebrity-driven drivel. Nonsense. And I used to hear guys complain about this back in the day, and I thought, it's not that bad. It was the 80s. We had some decent flicks, at least by comparison. Back then, I never understood the old guys complaining about movies the way they were. And then I just watched Zodiac from 2007, and I felt like, finally, a movie. This is an actual movie. Zodiac's an actual movie with actors and a story and pacing and holy cow, there's stakes? Whoa, what? It's almost like I forgot what the hell a movie was supposed to be until I saw a real one again. And then the reboots. Just stop. Just stop reboot. At some point, they're going to finally lose their shirt on a reboot and then stop it, I think, for a time. For a time, this is what Hollywood does. It sort of goes, the pendulum swings back and forth. Superheroes, they talk about superhero fatigue or whatever. It's not what it's going to be. It's just going to be they've lost and will lose so much money on superheroes that they'll finally be afraid to do any superhero or comic book movies because they'll say, there's no money in that. Well, there's no money in a bad movie, which is what most of you people make. But yeah, if you beat to death a concept and its IPs, there's no money in it then. But that's, I think, where we're headed. We're headed into video game territory. Every video game IP is going to be dug up now. And it pretty much we're on that way. We're down on that path pretty good. Every toy, because, Barbie. So toys and video games, that's the next big thing, I guess. Superheroes are heading out. Meanwhile, reboots. Just stop. And really, if you're creative and you have any power in Hollywood, just say no. Just step away and say no. Now, the guys in Hollywood, they're just trying to make it. I don't fault them for that. But my God, if you're some kind of A-lister, you're some kind of person with real, sway in the world of film and Hollywood, don't do a reboot. Don't do a reboot. Anyhow, that's my rant. It's Friday. I'm going to get out of my head for a few hours. Saturday, I'll be at Ostera Fair. That's tomorrow. From 10 to 4. That's in Penns Grove, New Jersey. Should be a fun day. Come on out. At Sunday, I'm going to Whitesbog Village, 10 to 3 for the Craft and Book Fair. So see me there. That's definitely going to be awesome. And then, of course, the live stream at 7 on Wednesday night. I'll be on the American Werewolf podcast, where we'll be talking about Zodiac, the movie from David Fincher, 2007. And that's it for me. We'll see you